welcome to our first ever episode of Celebrate Corner. We are your hosts, Sam and Nick. Now, you may be asking yourself, what is Celebrate Corner? Well, Celebrate Corner is a new show here at Celebrate that discusses all the things happening in the weight loss community from the perspective of a registered dietitian and a patient. Some things that we will discuss are research articles that are current and getting published out there in our journals and publications. We'll discuss something trending in the industry, and we'll also discuss some healthy tips to help you navigate your weight loss journey. Now, if you are new to Celebrate and do not know who we are, which I find it hard to believe, but let us introduce ourselves. So my name is Sam. I'm a registered dietitian for over 10 years now, specializing in bariatric surgery. I am from Philadelphia. I was a bariatric program coordinator, and then I joined Celebrate about 4 years ago, and I worked my way into different positions, and now I run our nutrition and international departments.
I'm Nick, and I am not a registered dietitian. However, I am the vice president of sales for Celebrate Vitamins, and I specialize in selling stuff. My background is in sales, is spanned from hearing aids to diabetic supplies to actually automobiles. So I have a lot of experience in sales, but since joining Celebrate 14 years ago, I have been very, very pleased with what I've seen so far.
So Nick, let me ask you, COVID, are you sick of hearing about it?
I am so sick of hearing about it. Thanks for asking me, Sam, because I don't think I could vent enough for the population of the United States. Just how wearisome it is to go into a grocery store or a restaurant or anywhere with a mask on and be socially distanced, and it just has really disrupted everyone's lives. I'm not discounting the people whose lives it has taken. However, for the rest of the United States who is here and reasonably healthy, it's high time it's over.
I definitely struggle with the mask because this area is too small for the adult size, but the child's size, they were fine, except I didn't want to wear a mask that had like rocket ships on it. So then it would like roll up into your eyes, and I'm constantly pushing it down. So I'm very much excited to hopefully be entering the post-COVID environment. And I'm sure many of our viewers are also excited to begin the next journey and the next chapter of their lives.
I will tell you this, that I believe that many people are going to discover that there's bad breath out there still.
We had the mask to hide that, didn't we? Now, another positive that came out of COVID, though, so we're re-entering the world, but a positive is research. There was a lot of research that occurred with COVID and how it impacted different subsets of populations, and one being the bariatric community. So one specific study that I would like to discuss occurred in the United States and Europe, and it had over 440,000 participants that self-reported in an app. So an app on our phones.
That's quite a bit.
Yes, it's very, very, very much. It's a great pool of people to be able to analyze. So these participants self-reported their supplement usage in the app, and then it was compared to their occurrence and symptoms of COVID to see if supplements in any way impacted COVID for the positive or the negative. So some of the supplements that were included were multivitamins, vitamin D, and probiotics. And the app users just reported their daily intake of these supplements, whether they had COVID and what were their symptoms. So here are some of the details of this study that I would like to share with you. The breakdown of total app users by country was over 370,000 in the UK, over 45,000 in the US, and over 27,000 in Sweden. In the UK subset alone, those users, now this is really important to listen to, those users that reported daily multivitamin supplementation had a lower risk of testing positive for COVID by 13%. Those users that reported daily vitamin D intake had a lower risk of testing positive for COVID by 9%. And those with daily probiotic intake had a reduced risk by 14%.
Those are incredible stats.
That's amazing. Now, in the US, we had similar outcomes with a reduction in testing positive for COVID by daily multivitamin use by 12%, 24% with vitamin D, and 18% with probiotics. Now, why I find these outcomes so fascinating is because weight loss surgery patients have to take these supplements every day for the rest of their lives to prevent deficiencies. And these deficiencies could be a result of malabsorption from their specific surgical procedure. What this research study states in over 440,000 participants is by not changing your behavior at all, just maintaining it, keep doing what you're doing, you are reducing your risk of testing positive from anywhere from 12 to 24% in the US.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
How does that make you feel, Nick?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm so glad you asked, Sam. It makes me feel really good, and for a couple reasons. Number one, I stick to my regimen like glue, and I stick to that regimen because I don't want to have anything occur within my body from malabsorption. Okay, there's a whole list of things that could happen, and some of them are worse than others. But let's just say if you stick to your regimen, you're probably not going to encounter any of those problems. The second reason why I really like this is because as someone who's responsible for helping to create these products that are out there helping people, it just makes me feel good inside.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you don't have to change what you're doing, and you're getting even more benefits than you already knew you were getting.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So we're going to take a brief commercial break and hear a word from our sponsor.
Welcome to Celebrate Vitamins. As a leading brand of bariatric supplements for over a decade, we know how challenging supplementation can be. That's why we work hard to make it easy for you, with an unrelenting focus on quality, formulation, variety, and of course, taste. And we know you have a lot of supplement options, so we appreciate your continued support. And as always, remember to celebrate.
Welcome back, everyone. So the next part of our show is our wild card segment. And this is the part where we're always going to be evolving. This is where we're going to bring you the fun and the trending stuff. The topics will always be changing. Today's episode, we're going to discuss physical activity related to COVID with our weight loss surgery patients. So Nick, I'm interested to know, how hard was it for you to maintain your physical activity, keep doing the exercising that I know you do every morning, during the imposed social distancing restrictions?
Well, for me, I'm in a situation that is rather unique. Okay, I used to belong to a gym, and a couple of years ago, I decided that I really wasn't. Going to the gym seemed to be problematic in itself. Getting in your car and driving over there, and then it's crowded and there's people sweating on you and things like that. Just things like that. It made me divest from the actual gym scene. If there's any gym owners out there, I'm very sorry. However, so I set up my own gym in my house. So I have free weights, and I have these mats that I found, and I will tell you that they're stable mats. They're from I got them at Tractor Supply Company. They're for horse stables. And, you can insert a joke here about, if they can support a horse, then, but anyway, so it really didn't interrupt my workout schedule in as much as I would let it. Okay. So by that I'm saying we're creatures of habit. So we do things habitually every day, whether we like it or not. And one of those things is your workout routine. Now, when COVID came along and disrupted the routine for everybody, well, I would sometimes use that as an excuse because my day was interrupted and it wasn't the way it used to be. And so there were times when I would miss, but it didn't take me long to get back on the track and make sure I was working out down in my basement every day, and not using COVID as an excuse, which is very easy to do. And, we can use a lot of things as excuses.
Yeah, it's like you, it was definitely a disruption of my normal routine. I didn't have the gym to go to each day. I had to figure out, okay, we're stuck at home. What are we going to do? So I'm on YouTube trying to figure out what's an exercise plan and upper body and making sure you're getting your cardio in. But we also have 4 dogs. So that added an extra benefit where, you're laying down on your mat and you're lifting your weights and all of a sudden you have the dog slurping and slopping in your face. So it definitely was very much a comedy hour and very interesting, not pretty in the least, but we got it done, we adjusted. But it made me think, I can't be the only one struggling with this. And I'm sure something has to exist regarding research, physical activity, and what's happening in the world right now. So I went on a hunt and I found an interesting article where weight loss surgery patients were assessed for physical activity while adhering to the social distancing guidelines. And what we found is what we all would expect, and that physical activity decreased in those that were following the social distancing guidelines versus those that were not. But here are the results. The results show that on average, 9.5 hours each day were spent in a sedentary behavior. So
9.5.
Right, 9.5.
Wow.
So probably flip-flop for a lot of people. 6 hours each day were spent in light activity, and 19.5 minutes, not hours, minutes, were now being spent in moderate to vigorous physical activity. So that validated, right? It validated your frustrations, my frustrations, a lot of frustrations of our viewers, in that the world was turned upside down and we almost were captive in our homes. And how do we maintain our physical activity? Now, next month's episode, we're going to discuss weight regain. But this is the part where we can really begin to start turning things around. Things are opening. We can start to go back out and enjoy parks or walking with friends closer than 6 feet if we're vaccinated than what we couldn't do last year. What I would encourage everyone to do is join the virtual walk from obesity. So this is a national event by the ASMBS. It was a virtual event last year. It will be virtual again this year in September. I believe it's September 25th. Team Celebrate will be live. We will all be there. All of our employees will be walking. Some will have our furry friends walking with us in the parks. But I encourage everyone to register and join our team and come walk with us, because we need to start somewhere. And why not start with engaging with everyone in our community in walking from obesity? Nick, where are you going to be walking?
Well, I'm so glad you asked me that question, Sam. I'm going to be walking on the golf course because it's a Saturday, the 25th is, and I'm going to be playing golf. So I'll make sure that I check in at the appropriate times and keep my bag over my shoulder and keep walking away down that course. That's a long way to walk.
That's a heavy golf bag too.
It is. I was thinking I should weigh it to find out exactly how much I'm hauling around with me. See if I can purge any of those clubs that are useless to me, like, the driver, the 4-iron, the 5, the 6, the 7, the 8, the 9, and I'll just putt the whole time.
So carry the one clove with you, that's all. Oh, too funny. Well, you can find out more information on all of our social media posts. We do have some posts, but we also could link that directly below in the comments section. So you will find it there as well. Now, switching to a completely different topic, Nick, how much do you enjoy garlic?
Oh, Sam, you may think that I'm kidding when I say this, but if I could bathe in garlic, I would.
So you would bathe in it. If I could have it in a candle and I could burn it every day, I absolutely would. I love garlic. Our next clip is going to be Nick showing you how to cook and prep with garlic.
This is not a clove of garlic. This is a whole bunch of cloves of garlic, okay? So what we have here, and this is a clove of garlic. It's very small. Now, we don't need this anymore, so we'll clean that up later too. I'm gonna show you a little trick on how to peel a clove of garlic. It's got some skin on it. It's not very appetizing, and you don't want to eat it. So what you do is you take a knife. Be very careful with knives. Lay the garlic flat as you can get the garlic. Place the knife on top of the garlic and just give it a little push, and you'll hear it crunch. If the mic picked it up, I don't know if it did or not, but that garlic is now very easy to peel. The skin is going to just peel right off of there. If I had smaller fingers, it would be a lot easier. So as you can see, it comes right off. There you go. Now you have a nice piece of garlic that you can chop up and do whatever you want with. Now you want to cut the garlic and mince it up very small. And remember, the smaller the garlic, the more powerful the taste of the garlic. Okay, so you chop it up real small, you get a real nice garlic flavor.
We are back for our final segment. We're going to close out today's show with Nick giving us some helpful tips.
So we're going to call this Nick's tip because it rhymes and it's, it's cute and it's succinct. So deal with it. The first thing that I want to talk about is water intake. Okay. And I believe that this is a great place to start because water, as you know, is essential to life, and it's one of the basic and core activities that need to take place in our lives in order to live a healthy and risk-free life. Now, activities meaning what we do as people who want to be healthy. So what I do in the morning when I get up is I drink between 10 and 12 ounces of water. Now I say between 10 and 12 ounces. It's at least 10. It may be as much as 12 on certain days. So I don't want you to think I'm just eyeballing it. It's important to know how much you're taking into your body. So the reason that this is so important is because it does a couple things for you. Number one, when you get up in the morning and you start drinking some water, you're actually helping your body in a significant way, because since you went to bed the night before, most of us haven't had anything to drink. So we're already starting to get into the throes of dehydration. So we don't want that to happen. That's number one. Number two, by putting some water in your stomach, it fills it up a little bit, and you're less likely to eat something that's bad for you, like the M&Ms that someone mysteriously put in the refrigerator. We don't want that to happen. The last thing that it does for you, and this is more scientific, so Sam will have to speak to this maybe a little bit, but all metabolic activity takes place in water. So if you simply add water to your body, you're going to be in good shape getting your metabolism started, and you're going to see it on the scale by just a little bit.
I think a great way to relate that to our viewers is in your weight loss journey, especially in those first few weeks or months after surgery, you might have said, I'm reaching my protein goals, I'm reaching my calorie goals, I'm reaching my physical activity goals, but the scale has stalled. And then many times when you went into further discussions with your dietitian, you learned you weren't meeting your fluid goals. And typically they're about 64 ounces, although that will vary by person and by program. And a lot of times, if you're not meeting your fluid goals and you are dehydrated, like Nick stated you could be, it could prevent the weight loss from occurring. It could stall because of how important that water is in the functioning of our daily routine bodily functions that occur. So it's very important, as Nick stated, to make sure that you're always getting your fluid in. We have our cups with us here and making sure you're always sipping throughout the day. Well, this wraps up our first show. We want to thank everyone for being a part of it. We very much enjoyed being here. We will be coming back every month with a new and exciting show with new videos and skits that are always added. Any comments, video topic suggestions, please write them below in the comments sections and we absolutely will review them later. Thank you so much and have a great day.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.